Good morning. You're awful dressed up today.
I dressed up. I came to our show this morning. It was the holiday yesterday.
There you go. There you go.
Everybody good? Got white, got sound, you're good? All right, we'll open it up. Coach Montgomery.
Yeah, just a quick recap of last week's game. Obviously, I thought our defense played extremely well. Very proud of the effort that they gave. Really across the board. I thought our defensive line was relentless all the way through the game. Linebackers played and fitted things extremely well. Got them in predictable down and distance situations, which was our goal going in. And then I really thought our secondary, all of our corners, our safeties came up and fitted well. Corners fitted well, but in coverage, really battled at the point of attack. And so very pleased with the way they played, but understand that we can still play much better. Had a couple of penalties there that cost us in the first drive, but overall, really, really proud of them. Got to continue to keep getting better and growing from our experience that we have there. Offensively, knew it was going to be a tough day, especially trying to run the football against that front. I thought our inexperience showed up quite a bit, especially in the run game part of it. Had some unfortunate things happen there in the second quarter, and got to clean all of that up. We had a lot of young guys that got a lot of playing time, and expect us to be 100% better in week 2 than we were in week 1. I'm excited to get back on the practice field today with them and start that process. Now, as you look forward to San Jose, Coach Breno, I've had a chance to meet him a couple of different times. Really nice guy, great coach. His defensive coordinator and I go way back, Derek Odom. We coached together at another spot, and so remain friends all the way through it. They're a well-coached football team, got a big win for them last week. Expecting, from them offensively, spreading it out, doing some different things there. They're going to give you a few different personnel groupings, but they got 2 good running backs back there. They've got some speed on the outside. Their tight ends are long and tall, but we've got to do a good job of taking away what they love to do. From an offensive standpoint, looking at their defense, really, really difficult. They give you a lot of different looks. They base have an odd front. They're spinning and giving you a lot of different pressure packages within that, changing coverages quite a bit. And so we've got to do a really good job of establishing the things that we need to do, get our running game going, find those guys on the outside, give them opportunities to go make plays. And we've got to keep Zach upright a little bit. Obviously, he got hit too much the other night. Keeping him upright and letting him see the field is going to be important for us as we continue to grow as an offense.
From my perspective, it seems like Michigan State is so stout and exceptional against the run that it would be hard to know even really where you are, to get a fair look. What do you come out of that knowing you need to improve, or what do you go working on?
Just from a run, going into it, their front 7 is extremely talented. They're all older guys, and you're talking about all Big Ten across the board, plus the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, who I think that was 48, but I think 35 could also be that Bocce. So those guys are talented. With the things that happened there in the middle of the second quarter, and then as you come out, try to establish a little something from a run game, still trying to work it in the third quarter, not making a lot of headway. At that point, now you're behind. You've got to be throwing the football if you're ever going to have a chance to get back in it. And so to some degree, yes, where are we really in the run game? Obviously, you went up against a tough opponent. I think we're better than what we showed the other night, yet we've got to prove that when we step on the field and get it done.
So how much would you say of the inefficiency of the offense was just from a lack of execution from you guys as opposed to just how good of a defense they really were?
It's kind of hard to determine, really. I think they're really good. I think we're young. I think we started the game with four guys that had never stepped on the field in a game like that, and I think we ended up playing 7 or 8 guys in that spot. That being said, I think we're much better than what we showed the other night. Give them credit. I think they played extremely well, took away some things, got us in predictable down and distance situations, and we're able to take advantage of those things. We've got to do better on early downs and continue to keep finding ways to move the chains.
Yeah. And I know all the talk going into the season was how good the defense was going to be coming back for you guys. How nice was it for them to go out on a stage like that and prove that they were the strength of this team against a team like that?
Yeah, I'm pleased, obviously, and I know what we've been going against all spring ball and all fall camp, and felt their growth and maturity and the things that have happened defensively for us. For them to go out on that stage and do what they did, I think just solidifies or verifies, what you're thinking going into it. Again, I don't believe our defensive guys are satisfied at all. There's still a lot of things we got to improve on and get better at, but they're playing the way you're supposed to play this game. I mean, they played relentless on defense. They put a lot of pressure. I thought Coach Gillespie and our defensive staff did a really nice job, especially going into a game where you're not really certain what they're going to do offensively because of what they did on their offensive staff. So I thought they handled it, made good adjustments, and thought really played extremely well.
Sometimes even a really good defense will struggle with the sudden change situations where you get thrown out there unexpectedly, and they kept doing that and answered the bell every time.
Yeah, I think that's where our experience shows up. I mean, you got a lot of guys over there. We've got 9 guys back, but I feel like I have more than that back because of a lot of those guys that stepped into roles and or are backing up into other roles. They've got a lot of experience underneath their belts. I thought they handled those situations extremely well. Those fourth down, I think we were 1 of 4 on fourth down with them. I think they got their first one. We stopped the next 3. Those are big-time plays. I mean, one of those, I think the first stop that we had, Jackson Player is in the backfield, picks off the guard trying to pull. Diamond comes down and does a great job on the edge, and then both of our safeties step up and make a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. And one of those is Kendarian Ray, who's getting his first play, but him and Brandon did a nice job of stepping in and making that tackle. So it's good that those guys are doing those types of things, but it is expected out of them, and I thought our leadership really showed up there.
Coach, playing a Big Ten team is always a physical contest. How'd you come out of the game physically?
Yeah, obviously we got some bumps and bruises, but for the most part came out fairly healthy. I thought a lot of that due to the type of work that they've put in over the spring and summer with EA and his staff. I think our guys physically, I didn't feel any separation when it came to that. I thought our guys handled that part of it extremely well, and if anything, I thought especially from our defense, I thought we were much more physical than they were offensively. And you know what Big Ten football is about. They want to line up and pound the football, and I thought our guys held up extremely well against that.
You just get back from Michigan, now you got to go all the way to California. How taxing are those long road trips, especially when they're back-to-back like that?
Yeah, it's rough, especially, we got back here probably – I don't know, it was around 2 o'clock, I think, when the plane landed. By the time you get back here, get off the bus and, get everything, that's another hour or more. Luckily, we did play on the Friday, so it gave them Saturday to kind of get their legs back underneath them, brought them back up Sunday, got our shakeout in and the normal things that we do on Sunday. Going to the West Coast now is a totally different deal with the time change and all of that. I don't know that we'll get back before 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. When you get out there, the time change does affect you, and you've got to handle those things extremely well. So longer plane ride, obviously, you got to make sure that you're hydrated and getting our legs back underneath us once we step off the plane there. So there's some factors that go into it that obviously play a role, but we've got to be able to handle those as a team and move forward.
Did I hear right that it's not tough to get to San Jose, but it's tougher to get out of San Jose? Here they do not allow airplanes to leave the airport after 11. You've got a bus somewhere to get out of there?
Yes, yeah. So
where do you go to get
we'll
Oakland?
bus back to Oakland and fly back out of Oakland, unless something's changed in the last couple of days that I don't know about.
11 p.m. deadline.
It's either 11 or 11:30, but it doesn't give us enough time to get back, and you got to be wheels up off the tarmac by then.
Wow. Yeah. Coach, what do you see out of Josh Love, third-year starter for San Jose State?
They had a pretty good game this past week against Northern Colorado. Where can you see their offense go?
Yeah, I thought he was very efficient the other night. I thought he did a nice job of moving the ball around a little bit, used his tight end a little bit more than what they did last year as far as getting him involved. I think they've got some talented guys on the outside. I just thought he looked mature, he looked relaxed, he looked comfortable in there. thought it was accurate, got the ball out of his hands, and they're doing a good job of getting that ball out of his hands quickly. He's making quick reads, making it happen, and it makes it more difficult for you to get to him from a pressure package standpoint.
I know we talked a lot about this offseason about how tough the schedule is, but then you have Wyoming knocking off Missouri. Your non-conference schedule goes undefeated. Is it even more tougher maybe than you anticipated after a small sample size?
I don't know. I thought it was going to be pretty tough. So I think it's just holding true. And we knew we had our hands full as we came into this season with the schedule the way it is. But I've got a lot of faith in our guys and what they're going to do and what they're going to accomplish. And we're just ready to step back on the practice field, continue to get better, and have an opportunity to step back on the game field and get us a win.
So you just acknowledged how tough that is, open with 2 straight road trips and one of them all the way to the West Coast. What frame of mind do you want your players to be in? What kinds of things are you talking to them about, gearing up for that?
Yeah, we've been talking about it since the fall camp. We know what our schedule is. We know what we've got to do and what we need to accomplish. But within that, and I know it's going to sound like Coach speak, we've really been talking about playing it 1 week at a time. I mean, you can't look forward. You can't look behind. Whatever happens, we correct, we move on, we enjoy, especially those wins, but yet, 24 hours, you got to be right back on the next one, and you got to be focused in on what you got to do and continue to keep improving. So we got to take it week by week, game by game, and opponent by opponent.
So I think you didn't name Zach the starter at the pregame press conference. I'm assuming it happened some point after. When did it happen? And his play, did it solidify his role as a starter, or is it something that's just a week by week?
I thought, we talked with our quarterbacks and our team and all of that about it, during the week. And there was no surprises, obviously, going into the game of what was about to happen and occur. I thought Zach showed some real flashes of some things, handled some situations extremely well. That second quarter, with all the things that happened, I thought he bounced back and recovered from some of those things. Obviously, some of those are out of his control. He's got to do a better job protecting the football. The pick was not a good throw or good read by him, but that's right in the midst of all of that going on. I thought he stood in there, took a couple of really big shots, several throughout the night, but stood in there. The one before half, the one that he threw to Keenan, he's getting hit by 2 guys on his lower half as he's trying to deliver that ball, still threw a great ball, and Toe made a nice catch right there, and then turned right back around 2 plays later and hit Sam. So made some good throws, made some good reads. We got to do a better job of protecting. We got to get our running game going, which balances it all out and makes those things a lot easier.
He's started before and started in the Big 12, but what can he take from this tape, having had the year off and now a team that as good as Michigan State?
I think, I thought overall, our receivers did a better job. Now, there's still a lot of things that we got to correct, but they did a better job of working routes and getting things open. He did a better job of taking what they were giving him at times. He hasn't played in basically 2 years, so it was good for him to kind of get back in the action. That's the first hit he's taken in a long time as well, and so getting used to being in the pocket, taking care of the football, little things like that you're trying to drill and work in practice, but till you get in the game and all of those people are flying around you and being able to manipulate the pocket and move around, and there's some things like that I think from week 1 to week 2 will greatly improve, and we'll continue to keep drilling and working those things as we go through. But there's nothing like game experience, and it was good for him to get back in the mix of it.
After playing at Michigan State, playing a Big Ten team, now we're playing a Mountain West team that historically in the past recent years has struggled in their conference. How much emphasis do you put on the tape, watching what you guys did last week, or is it just that we focus on what we need to do on the practice field?
Yeah, we're focused on San Jose. We know they're a good football team. Got a good win last week, and that's really all of our focus. On Sunday, we cleaned up. Michigan State learned as much as we could from that. Always going to continue to draw back from those things. But in this day and age of college football, there's so much parity. You got to be ready to play each and every week. So now our focus is installing what we've got to get installed for them. It's a completely different offense and defensive scheme. So we've got to go in, plug those things in, get our guys ready to perform at a really good level against a really tough San Jose team.
Coach, one of your pupils, Dane Evans, threw for 442 yards last night in a CFL game. Didn't realize Labor Day is such a big deal. It's kind of like their Thanksgiving Day thing. It's a pretty big deal, I guess. And
Yeah, I didn't know that part of it, but I
special
knew
game,
about
but
Dane's.
lots of emotion and fights and all sorts of stuff. But anyway, he throws for 442. How proud are you of his progression into the pro game and also his patience? You know, because he's been around a while in the CFL now.
Yeah, I'm really happy for him. Patience is part of it. Him just getting an opportunity to showcase what he can do. We've always known we've always thought Dane's going to really succeed at whatever level he gets to play at the next spot. And so for him to get that opportunity, Dane's a great competitor. He's a great student of the game, and he's a winner. And so doesn't surprise me at all for Dane to go out and perform the way he's performing right now. He's now gotten an opportunity to kind of step into that starting role, and is making the most of it. So extremely proud of him. We were texting, matter of fact, Thursday and Friday, just talking about our upcoming game and theirs. And so it's always good to see him keep doing the things that he loves to do and does so well.
Curious, with that Friday night game, do you get to sit down and enjoy some football on Saturday?
You can ask my wife. I was not home Saturday.
Coach, you talk about defense.
Talk particularly, or what about Travis Gibson? It just looked like he just kept on putting pressure on their quarterback.
Travis has been great. He continues to play it at an extremely high level. He holds himself to that standard. You're talking about a guy that has worked tremendously hard to get himself to where he is. I mean, he came in here at 205 pounds. Now he's 268 to 270 pounds. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's our team captain and leader, and does a great job, not just defensively, but overall with our group as far as leading those guys, and backs it up every step of the way. In addition to him, though, I got to go ahead and give props to that whole defensive line, because he's playing that way, but so are the rest of those guys up front. And you can throw Jackson Player in there, you can throw Shamar in there, Cullen, Big Cat, all of those guys across the board. Those guys played relentlessly the other night. They have to continue to keep doing that for us to be successful on defense.
Any other questions?
All right. Thanks, guys.
Zayden College.